I used to have a daily habit that felt almost comforting, reaching for a bag of chips whenever I wanted a quick snack. It was easy, tasty, and admittedly a long-standing staple in my kitchen cabinet. But at 65, I began noticing subtle changes. My energy levels would spike and crash more often, and I felt sluggish in the afternoons. I started wondering if those chips, with their high sodium and processed ingredients, might be contributing to this fatigue. After all, it's common for many of us to assume that our diet can remain the same as we grow older, but our bodies change, and so do our nutritional needs. What really opened my eyes was a conversation with a close friend who, in her early 70s, had been dealing with frequent muscle cramps, nighttime restlessness, and occasional dizzy spells. When she cut back on overly salty snacks, particularly chips and pretzels, she saw improvements in her overall comfort and her ability to sleep through the night. That got me thinking, maybe the mindless, salty snacking I had taken for granted was doing me more harm than good. So I decided to make a conscious switch from chips to flavorful, nutrient-rich fruit alternatives. And believe me, this wasn't about depriving myself. It was about finding joy in food again, but in ways that genuinely support my well-being. If you've ever questioned whether some of your longtime snacking habits might be sneaking unnecessary salt or sugar into your daily routine, you're not alone. Many seniors face the challenge of balancing taste and convenience with a new set of dietary considerations. Whether it's managing blood pressure, stabilizing blood sugar, or simply staying energized throughout the day, the foods we choose can significantly influence how we feel and function. By swapping out a bag of chips with a piece of fresh or lightly prepared fruit, you might be surprised by how much more satisfied you feel, both in terms of taste and how your body responds. Today, I want to share how making this simple shift to fruit-based snacks provided me with a revitalized sense of energy and satisfaction, without sacrificing flavor. We'll talk about 4 easy fruit alternatives that not only help curb the craving for something crunchy or sweet, but also offer vitamins, minerals, and hydration that become increasingly important as we age. We'll cover the misconceptions about our salt and sugar needs after 65, common obstacles that keep us reaching for chips, and the realistic steps you can take right now to enjoy fruit without feeling like you're missing out. You'll also hear relatable stories of seniors who discovered new ways to snack that supported better digestion, steadier moods, and even closer connections with their grandkids, who got excited about fruit snacks too. Now, I'm not a doctor, and this conversation isn't meant to replace professional advice. Think of me as a curious culinary advisor who's been in your shoes and learned a few lessons worth passing along. I've spent years experimenting with recipes that suit the tastes and nutritional needs of those of us in our golden years. And I've seen firsthand how small, consistent changes can lead to big, positive results. Before we dive in, I encourage you to think about your own snacking routines. Which snacks do you gravitate toward when you're hungry between meals or sitting down to watch your favorite show? As we go through these tips, keep in mind what resonates with you and jot down any questions you might want to bring to your own healthcare provider or dietitian. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing more empowering than understanding your own body and making choices that truly suit you. Let's explore some realistic, tasty fruit alternatives and discover how letting go of that chip habit can open the door to greater vitality and joy. I understand that most of us have grown up believing certain staples, like a daily handful of crunchy chips, are harmless. After all, they're quick, they're easy, and they perk up our taste buds. But when you learn how these salty fried snacks might affect blood pressure, water retention, and energy dips, it becomes clear that rethinking them can be a game changer. So let's begin by challenging a few misconceptions and uncovering the first fruit alternative that changed my own snacking game. One of the first assumptions many seniors have is that fruit isn't fun or filling enough to replace the comforting crunch of chips. The truth is, certain fruits can deliver a crisp bite, a burst of natural sweetness, and even a sense of indulgence if prepared the right way. Let's take a closer look at the first alternative and explore how it dispels a common myth about flavor and satisfaction. I used to believe an apple was just an apple, perfectly fine if I was trying to be healthy, but not particularly exciting. Then I met Sylvia, 68, who demonstrated that fruit can be as delectable as any bagged snack when you pay attention to texture, variety, and a few simple preparations. Sylvia had always loved the crunch of potato chips and even stored a stash in her car for convenience. But after her doctor expressed concern about her borderline high blood pressure, she realized those salty snacks might be contributing to her health woes. She began experimenting with apples, specifically crisp varieties like Honeycrisp, Fuji, and Pink Lady, to see if she could mimic that satisfying bite she missed from chips. The game changer came when she started pairing slices of these apples with a thin spread of almond butter or a sprinkle of cinnamon. Suddenly, she discovered a range of flavors and textures, the sweetness of the apple, the creamy or spicy add-ons, and crucially, that audible crunch that we chip lovers crave. Fruit like apples can offer a natural fiber that helps stabilize blood sugar levels, which is often a concern for seniors. Unlike chips, which can cause a quick spike and subsequent dip in energy, an apple's fiber and natural sugars release energy more gradually. This means you might feel satiated longer, helpful if you're trying to avoid mindless snacking or if you're managing conditions like prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Of course, if you're on medications that affect blood sugar, you'll want to monitor your intake and consult your healthcare provider for personalized guidance. But for many of us, swapping a bag of chips for an apple with a dash of cinnamon or a light dip in nut butter is a delicious step toward better energy management. Another common misconception is that fruit snacks are a hassle to prepare compared to opening a bag of chips. However, the difference can be surprisingly small if you plan ahead. Sylvia washes and slices several apples at the start of her week, storing them in airtight containers with a bit of lemon juice sprinkled on top to keep them fresh. This quick prep session takes only a few minutes and ensures she has a grab-and-go snack ready whenever her stomach starts growling. In terms of emotional benefit, Sylvia has shared how switching from chips to apple slices made her feel more in control of her health. Rather than mindlessly devouring a handful of chips and feeling guilty afterward, she's now savoring each bite, enjoying the taste and texture, and feeling proud of her healthier choice. That psychological boost can be just as rewarding as any physical benefit. It's a reminder that we're actively taking steps to care for ourselves, and that in itself can be uplifting. If you're skeptical about trading chips for fruit, consider trying a variety of apple types. Each offers a different flavor profile. Some are tart, some are sweet, some are super crisp. Experiment with cinnamon, nutmeg, or a small spoonful of almond butter. Over time, you might discover that far from being a sacrifice, this fruit-based snack feels like a treat. It's a small shift that can have a surprisingly big ripple effect on your overall wellness. Let's move on to another delicious alternative, one that's perfect if you miss the tangy zing of certain chip flavors. Before we get there, I'm curious. Have you ever dismissed a fruit because you thought it was boring? If so, think about which fruit you might reintroduce into your routine. Now, on to an option that might surprise you with its zest and versatility. A belief I encountered often is that fruit is always sweet and won't satisfy cravings for something sour or savory. That misconception kept me stuck in my chip habit for years. I thought, I need a salty or tangy taste that only a bag of chips can provide. Then I started experimenting with citrus fruits, and I realized there's a whole spectrum of flavors I'd been overlooking. Meet Harold 71, who used to reach for chips flavored with salt and vinegar, a tangy combination that he found irresistible. He'd say, I just can't live without that sour punch. But his doctor advised him to watch his sodium levels after a minor health scare related to high blood pressure. Instead of simply giving up his beloved flavor altogether, Harold explored the world of grapefruit, oranges, and pineapple. First, he tried grapefruit, but found it too bitter. Then he discovered that pairing freshly sliced grapefruit with a sprinkle of cinnamon or a drizzle of honey balanced the bitterness while still keeping the tang. Alternatively, Harold switched to mandarin oranges and clementines, which gave him bursts of sweet and sour juiciness without relying on processed flavor enhancers. Over time, he learned that the natural tang of certain fruits could actually scratch the same itch that salt and vinegar chips once did, minus the excessive sodium. From a nutritional standpoint, citrus fruits are rich in vitamin C, which can help support immune function, something many seniors are eager to maintain as we get older. They also contain potassium, a mineral that supports healthy blood pressure. Of course, if you're on certain blood pressure medications or other prescriptions, it's always wise to check with your healthcare provider about possible interactions with grapefruit or other citrus fruits. But for many individuals, a modest amount of citrus can be a refreshing, beneficial addition to their diet. Harold also stumbled upon another tip, using the zest of citrus fruits in small, savory recipes. For instance, he started adding a bit of lemon zest or orange zest to homemade dressings or marinades. That pop of flavor can make a simple dish feel gourmet, and it gives you that tangy bite often craved by chip lovers. He noted that preparing these small enhancements felt empowering. He was no longer dependent on a manufactured snack for flavor. Instead, he was in the driver's seat, experimenting with tastes that worked for him. Emotionally, Harold felt this change gave him back a sense of control he thought he'd lost once he was told to limit his sodium. No one wants to feel like flavor is off limits. By focusing on citrus fruits, he discovered that cutting back on chips didn't have to mean bland or boring. In fact, it expanded his flavor repertoire. He got into the habit of prepping a bowl of mandarin orange segments or grapefruit slices in the morning and snacking on them when his midday craving for tang hit. This ritual reminded him that he was actively looking after his health without surrendering enjoyment. For many older adults, maintaining a sense of independence and pleasure in our daily habits is crucial. Food is not just nourishment, it's part of our culture, our memories, and our day-to-day joys. Introducing citrus as a snack alternative can keep that enjoyment alive while also addressing some of the dietary concerns that might arise with aging. After all, it's often the excessive salt, fats, and additives in chips that pose challenges for blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight management. So if you find yourself longing for a sour punch, consider exploring the world of citrus. Whether it's oranges, tangerines, grapefruits, with a touch of sweetness, or even a squeeze of lemon juice over a fresh salad, there are ways to capture that tanginess without reaching for a vinegar-laden chip bag. If this idea resonates with you, maybe take a moment to think about a tangy fruit you've never tried or haven't tried in years, and make a note to pick it up the next time you're at the grocery store. You might be pleasantly surprised by how satisfying it can be. We've looked at apples for crunch and citrus fruits for tang. Now let's move on to a snack that can replicate a creamy or richer mouthfeel, especially appealing if you adore the bold flavors of cheese-flavored chips or other indulgent varieties. But before we dive into the next point, I'd love to hear, what's your favorite flavor of chip, and is there a fruit flavor profile you think could stand in for that experience? An assumption I frequently encounter is that fruit can't be both indulgent and healthy, especially if you've been gravitating toward the decadence of sour cream and onion or cheese-flavored chips. The misconception is that to get a velvety, rich texture, you need a processed dip or snack. But the truth is, certain fruits can give you that luscious mouthfeel naturally, especially if you pair them with the right ingredients. Consider the story of Marjorie, 74, who used to devour sour cream and onion chips during her afternoon television time. She loved the creamy, bold flavor, but felt guilty about the high sodium content. She also noticed she felt bloated and uncomfortable after these snacks, which her doctors suggested could be linked to the extra salt and preservatives. When Marjorie looked for alternatives, she discovered the creaminess of avocado slices paired with fresh tomato or a sprinkle of herbs. But an avocado is not a fruit, she insisted at first. Many people think of avocados as vegetables, yet they're actually classified as fruit, and they can satisfy cravings for something smooth and substantial. Marjorie began mashing ripe avocado onto whole grain crackers or cucumber slices. To mimic the oniony taste, she'd sprinkle some finely diced chives or green onions on top. Suddenly, she was enjoying a snack that felt just as indulgent as her favorite chips. But this time, she was getting healthy fats that support heart health, plus a variety of vitamins and minerals. Avocados are known for their monounsaturated fats, which can help maintain healthy cholesterol levels when consumed in moderation. Another hidden perk, the fiber in avocados can aid digestion, an aspect that becomes more important as we age and want to stay regular without relying on too many over-the-counter solutions. For those who prefer a sweeter indulgence, bananas also offer creamy texture when you let them ripen a bit. You can slice them, freeze them, and then blend them into a nice cream-style dessert. basically a guilt-free frozen treat. Top it with a small handful of nuts or shredded coconut, and you have a snack that feels rich but doesn't burden you with the excessive salt or trans fats that some chip varieties might carry. Emotionally, Marjorie reported feeling a sense of delight and curiosity as she explored new flavor combinations. Rather than feeling she was losing out on a favorite snack, she reimagined her chip habit as an opportunity to discover new foods. She also mentioned that sharing her avocado creations with friends made her feel like a culinary trendsetter, which boosted her confidence, a small but meaningful side effect of making changes that prioritize well-being. A key thing for seniors to remember is that our metabolism and nutrient needs do shift over time. We still need healthy fats, proteins, and carbohydrates, but the balance and quality of these nutrients become crucial. Avocados, bananas, and other creamy textured fruits can help satisfy cravings while also contributing to a nutrient-dense diet. Just keep in mind portion sizes. Avocados, for example, are calorie-dense. Enjoying half an avocado for a snack might be ideal for many people. If you're managing weight, talk with a nutritionist or healthcare provider about how best to incorporate these delicious fruits into your meal plan. This shift in mindset from seeing fruit as a poor substitute to recognizing it can offer equally indulgent textures, can be liberating. You're not just cutting out chips, you're adding options that might surprise you with how satisfying they can be. Remember to keep exploring. Try different herbs, spices, or light seasonings to amp up the flavor. A sprinkle of sea salt, if you're not on a strict low-sodium diet, can bring out the taste in avocado or bananas too. Always listen to your body. If something feels off, adjust accordingly. If you're on multiple medications, it's worth double-checking any potential interactions with your doctor, especially if you're significantly changing your eating habits. We've covered crisp apples for crunch, citrus for tang, and avocado or bananas for creaminess. Let's now explore an option that's both convenient and surprisingly versatile if you love variety. But before we move to the last snack, take a moment to think about which flavor or texture you crave the most. Is it crunchy, tangy, creamy, or something else entirely? Another common assumption is that fruit has a short shelf life and is therefore more cumbersome for seniors who don't shop frequently. After all, chips can sit in your pantry for months without issue. But dried and freeze-dried fruits can be a remarkable alternative, providing you with extended shelf life and an array of flavors and textures. The misconception is that dried fruits are overly sweet or not healthy due to added sugars. While it's true some brands add sugar or syrups, you can find options without added sugars that still taste delightfully sweet or slightly chewy. Let's talk about Donald, 69, who was a self-professed chip connoisseur. He stocked barbecue chips, plain chips, onion-flavored chips. His pantry was a mini chip aisle. He argued that fruit wouldn't last in his kitchen, where he only wanted to shop bi-weekly. Then his granddaughter introduced him to unsweetened freeze-dried strawberries, peaches, and even crunchy apple chips. Intrigued, Donald discovered these products had a texture closer to traditional chips, but were made entirely from fruit. He also tried dried apricots and prunes for a chewiness that satisfied him just as much as his barbecue chips had. Dried fruits can offer concentrated sources of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They're easy to store, and they come in small, portable packages. For seniors who have mobility challenges or don't drive, the extended shelf life can be a big advantage. But do pay attention to portion sizes. Dried fruit is calorie-dense because the water is removed. If you have diabetes or need to watch your sugar intake, it's even more important to check labels for added sugars and to talk with your healthcare professional about how to incorporate them sensibly. What Donald appreciated most was how these dried fruits reminded him that flavor variety is possible beyond chips. He found barbecue-flavored freeze-dried apples in a specialty store. Basically, apples lightly seasoned with smoky spices, but without the heavy sodium and unhealthy fats. He also realized he could make homemade fruit leathers by pureeing fruits and gently baking them. That creativity made snacking fun again. The emotional reward came from feeling proactive, like he wasn't giving up snacking, but simply upgrading it. Beyond the convenience, there's a social element too. When friends or family come over, offering a bowl of assorted dried fruits can spark conversations like, Ooh, I've never tried freeze-dried pineapple. It can feel more special than opening a predictable bag of chips. This sense of novelty can help combat the idea that a senior diet is restrictive or dull. Instead, it becomes a platform for sharing, discovering, and engaging with others. From a physical standpoint, seniors often face challenges with digestion or hydration. While dried fruits won't hydrate you, pairing them with a glass of water or herbal tea can encourage better fluid intake. And many dried fruits support bowel regularity, which can be a real win for those dealing with constipation or certain medication side effects. Before we wrap up the discussion on dried fruits, it's worth noting that some types can be high in potassium or natural sugars, which may interact with certain medications or health conditions. As with all these suggestions, personalization is key. A quick chat with a dietitian or doctor can help you pinpoint which dried fruits fit best into your lifestyle and medication regimen. So whether you're looking for something to satisfy a sweet tooth, a tangy desire, or a crunchy craving, dried and freeze-dried fruits can play a valuable role in your snacking routine. By choosing options without added sugars and paying attention to portion sizes, you can enjoy a new dimension of flavor that's both practical and health-conscious. Now that we've explored 4 fruit alternatives, apples for crunch, citrus for tang, avocado or bananas for creaminess, and dried or freeze-dried options for convenience and variety, it's a good time to pause and reflect on how each might fit into your daily life. Which fruit feels most accessible or appealing to you right now? And how can you set yourself up for success so that fruit becomes just as easy to grab as a bag of chips? We've taken a deep dive into why I stopped snacking on chips at 65 and how 4 fruit alternatives can step in to satisfy those snack cravings without compromising health. By choosing apples with a hint of spice, zesty citrus fruits, creamy avocado or bananas, and convenient dried fruits, you open up a world of flavorful possibilities that can support your well-being. The beauty is, you don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Small, consistent changes can have a big impact over time, especially when they become habits you actually enjoy. If you find yourself thinking, I've been eating chips for decades, why change now? Consider the real-life stories we've touched on. Sylvia reduced her blood pressure concerns by swapping her daily chips for apples and almond butter. Harold discovered citrus fruits satisfied his tangy cravings and helped him keep his salt intake in check. Marjorie fell in love with avocado's creamy texture, giving her the same sense of indulgence as sour cream chips. And Donald found that dried fruits could add variety to his pantry without needing frequent grocery runs. Each of these experiences shows that it's never too late to try something new if it can improve how you feel. There's a gentle urgency to this message because our nutritional needs shift as we age. High-sodium snacks can contribute to elevated blood pressure, while processed carbs and excessive saturated fats can affect everything from energy levels to heart health. We have the power to change these habits, and the sooner we do, the more benefits we can enjoy, like steadier energy, fewer digestive complaints, and even a reduced risk of certain health complications. That said, this isn't about scare tactics. It's about opening your eyes to opportunities that can make your day-to-day life more comfortable and more delicious. Imagine how it would feel to wake up in the morning without that bloated sensation, or to take a walk around the neighborhood with a little extra pep in your step. Or picture yourself inviting your friends over and serving them a colorful fruit platter that sparks excitement rather than the usual chips and dip. These are small transformations that can enhance your sense of independence and enjoyment as you navigate life after 65. There are multiple ways to take action, and you can choose the level that feels right for you. If you're looking for a simple first step, experiment with just one fruit swap this week. Maybe replace your usual bag of chips with a sliced apple sprinkled with cinnamon. If you're feeling more adventurous, plan a small grocery list of different fruits, apples, tangerines, avocados, and a bag of dried apricots to see how they fit into your day. And if you're ready for a bigger commitment, share this new approach with a friend or loved one and create a fruit challenge together for a week or a month. Accountability can make it easier and more fun. As you try these alternatives, keep an open mind. You may need to test a few varieties or preparation methods until you find the ones that truly satisfy your taste buds. Remember to listen to your body. If something doesn't sit well, adjust your approach or consult with a healthcare professional. The goal is to enhance your quality of life through mindful, joyful eating, not to impose strict rules that make you feel deprived. Ultimately, the decision to reduce or eliminate chips in favor of fruit is yours. No one else can tell you how to feel about the foods you eat. But if you're looking for a way to enjoy snacking while also caring for your body's changing needs, these fruit alternatives can be a powerful avenue for positive change. You've lived a full life filled with experiences and wisdom. Let that wisdom guide you to explore delicious, nutritious snacks that can help you stay vibrant and engaged in the activities you love. Here's to taking small yet meaningful steps toward better health, one snack at a time. If you found these insights helpful, I encourage you to share them with a friend or family member who might benefit. Don't forget, you can always subscribe to any newsletter or channel that provides more senior-friendly culinary tips. And if you have questions or experiences of your own to share, consider commenting or joining an online community focused on healthy aging. Every new idea and perspective helps us all learn and grow. Above all, trust yourself. You know your body, your preferences, and your life best. Allow these new snacking ideas to spark a sense of possibility, reminding you that transformation is always within reach, no matter your age. Here's to replacing that chip bag with something fresh, nourishing, and truly satisfying, and to savoring every single bite.